Here's another lucky thrift store find. This is the second TV antenna I've found in a month at one of my local thrift stores. And this one had the same message written on the box. RV TV antenna works in US. Well, TV antennas work in Canada too. And a lot of people might not realize that you can still get over-the-air TV channels for free with an antenna in Canada. You might not get as many channels as you would in the US, but if you live in a major Canadian city or live near the US border, then chances are you're going to be able to pick up at least some channels with a TV antenna. Here in Thunder Bay, where I live, we can get 3 free over-the-air channels: CTV, Global, and TV Ontario. And of course, where you live is going to determine which channels you get. But free TV is alive in Canada. All you have to do is do some research and find out what channels are available in your area. I also want to address the RV TV antenna thing quickly. This is the second TV antenna I've found at the thrift store that's had this written on the box. And an RV TV antenna is simply a TV antenna that's been adapted to be used on an RV. It's the same type of antenna you have at home. TV antennas used on RVs might be a little more compact because you don't want a huge TV antenna on the roof of your trailer and have it get clipped off when you're going under a bridge. But generally speaking, the TV antennas they put on recreational vehicles are nothing more than home TV antennas that have been adapted to be used on those RVs. Usually they're mounted on some kind of a mast that can be raised or lowered with a crank mechanism. And you just crank the antenna down when you're going to travel, and that way it's not going to get sheared off by a bridge. But TV antennas are TV antennas. They can be used on RVs, they can be used at home. They're just pieces of metal that receive radio frequencies, no different than a piece of wire or a paperclip. Now, the antenna I found this time is a nice antenna that is made by RCA. It's model number ANT751. This is what you would define as the classic compact outdoor Yagi antenna. It's about 35 inches long, and the elements, as you'll see when we open it up, at the widest point are 34 inches. It looks like it's had very little use. It's in really good condition. So it was a good deal at $25. I actually have one of these brand new in the box. I bought on clearance from a Midwestern hardware store not too long ago. And the interesting thing is the only difference I can see between the one I bought on clearance and the brand new ones that are still in the store is that the new ones have the next gen label on the package. I guess it's all about marketing. And all you have to do with this antenna is unfold the elements carefully. Just make sure that you're not forcing them and make sure that they lock in place. Other than that, there's really no assembly to do. Here it is with all of the elements extended, and it's a very compact antenna. As I said, it's only 34 inches wide and 35 inches long. Now, this type of antenna is really designed to receive a wide band of TV frequencies. These smaller elements here are designed to receive channels on the UHF band. Those channels are broadcast at higher frequencies and therefore have smaller, shorter wavelengths. The longer elements on the back are designed to receive VHF channels, in particular channels on the High-VHF band, channels 7 through 13. And those channels tend to have longer wavelengths because they're broadcast at lower frequencies. You can also see this antenna has these lines that are known as phasing lines that tie all these elements together. Any elements that are connected to these phasing lines are known as active elements. And that is designed to give you maximum gain across the bandwidth that this antenna is designed to receive. The active elements on a TV antenna are the elements that actually capture the TV signal and send it to the transformer, which then sends the signal through the coaxial cable to your television. So to sum it up, these small elements are designed to receive RF channels 14 through 36 on the UHF band, and these longer elements at the back are designed to receive RF channels 7 through 13 on the High-VHF band. Any elements that are not directly connected to the transformer, such as these ones, are known as either directors if they're on the front of an antenna, and if they're on the back of an antenna, they're going to be called reflectors, and their job is to either reflect or direct the TV signals to the active elements so they can be captured and sent through the coax cable to your TV. And generally speaking, the more elements a TV antenna has, the more signal gain you're going to have, and that's going to help your overall TV reception. An RF channel is the actual channel that a TV station broadcasts on. And sometimes that differs from the display channel or the virtual channel that you see a TV station on your TV. Now in my area, the 3 TV channels that I receive over the air actually broadcast on the same frequencies that are displayed on the TV. Their RF channels are channels 2, 4, and 9, and the channels displayed on the TV are 2.2, 4.4, and 9.1. So in my case, the RF channels match the display channels, but that's not necessarily the case. In a lot of cities, TV stations will broadcast on a different channel than is displayed on your TV. A quick example of this is in a nearby American city, Duluth, Minnesota. KDLH channel 3 actually broadcasts on UHF channel 33, but it's displayed as channel 3.1 on the TV. Another example is KBJR, which has long time been on channel 6 and continues to display there, but actually broadcasts on UHF channel 19. And knowing the RF channels that your stations broadcast on is important because that's going to determine the best kind of antenna for your area. Generally speaking, the lower the RF channel, the bigger the antenna you'll need to receive that channel. Sometimes an RF channel is also known as a physical channel because it's the actual channel that a TV station is broadcast on. Mounting height is an important factor that affects the reception performance of a TV antenna, and this Yagi antenna from RCA is mounted 17 feet in the air on a mast pointed in the direction of my local broadcast towers. And now we'll go inside, run a channel scan, and check the signal strengths that it's producing. The signal strength on channel 2 CKPR was pretty reasonable for a small antenna, hovering in the high 50s and low 60s. Channel 4 CHFD fared a little better with a signal strength solidly into the mid 60s. And channel 9 TVO fared the best out of all the channels, not surprisingly, with a signal strength solidly into the 80s and touching a bit higher at times. For comparison's sake, the last antenna I tested out was also a Yagi made by Stellar Labs, except it was much larger. It was a High-VHF deep fringe performance antenna, and the signal strength on channel 2 and 4 was about 10% higher on that antenna. The signal strength on channel 9 was only a few percent higher than this smaller RCA Yagi. So overall, I'd say this small RCA Yagi held its own pretty well considering its size. I would say this antenna would work best in a city or suburban reception situation, but it's not recommended for long-range deep fringe performance. Overall, this RCA Yagi antenna fared pretty well considering its smaller size. It did okay pulling in low VHF channels 2 and 4, but it's really meant for reception on the high VHF band and presumably UHF. I suppose the low VHF performance of this antenna could be improved by extending these back elements with either some wire or thin pieces of metal tubing.